Welcome to the Traveling Cheesehead Podcast, where real stories, local voices, and unforgettable destinations come together. This is Destination Diaries, conversations with people who know their destinations best.
Hi friends, I'm Dannelle, the Traveling Cheesehead. Travel writer, TV host, and someone who believes the best trips don't start with a bucket list, they start with a conversation. Every week, I sit down with someone who knows their destination inside and out to uncover the stories, flavors, and experiences that make it truly worth the trip. After the break, you'll meet this week's guest. So grab a cup of coffee, of course in your travel mug, and let's hit the road. Let me introduce our guest for today. I am so excited that we get to chat with her. Now, I'm going to let her tell you her name, her title, and where she's from. But I want to say, okay, I'm going to cheat. Janice, welcome to the show. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Dannelle. I am so excited to be here.
Yay!
It's Janice Barniak, and I'm the director of Vincennes Visitors and Tourism Bureau.
Wonderful. So I'm so glad to have you here. Now, before we dive into the fun stuff, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do, kind of what makes your destination such a great place to visit.
I spend most of my time in this historical reenactment community that we have built here in Vincennes, Indiana. You know, I spent a lot of time in Revolutionary War apparel. I spent a lot of time like just having a blast everywhere. I feel like I lucked out in like some cosmic job market. But yeah, Vincennes is like, okay, so Indiana's a boot. Vincennes is the toe of the boot. And if you can start using the boot metaphor, I'm trying to get it to catch on for Indiana. Michigan has a mitten. And there's nothing you can do in Michigan that you can't do here. So
that's fun. All right, the boot. We've got to remember the boot for Indiana. Okay.
We're kicking butt in the boot.
We'll just get started with the 7 questions here. What makes your destination special? You know, that thing that really surprises most first-time visitors, something that people don't really expect when they arrive, but end up talking about long after they leave.
Well, okay, so we are a Revolutionary War site. So we have the George Rogers Clark Memorial. I put a great picture of it behind me because I'm like, oh, you know, I put a picture of it in spring because we get spring before you guys up in Wisconsin. I'm like, oh, let's just have them come down in March or April when these beautiful trees are flowering. I'm just going to, but that's a Revolutionary War site. We do a big Revolutionary War reenactment every year to remember the Battle of Fort Sackville that happened at that site. And, it was fascinating, like George Rogers Clark wading through waist-high water in mid-February, like they reenact this also every few years. I never try to get people to go to the reenactment of the George Rogers Clark March because it's miserable. No one wants to walk 5 miles like in February. I'm sorry. But no, they'll read from his journal about how freezing they are. They're like, yes, we are freezing. No, but yeah, our Memorial Day reenactment is the big thing. And the Revolutionary War heritage, also a big thing. A lot of people whose ancestors fought at the Battle of Fort Sackville, they still live here and they still do this every year. So I think that that's really cool. And then it's also, like, just a side note, it's also the home of comedian Red Skelton. You're probably too young to know who that is. But
I know.
Okay, so Red Skelton was kind of like really big in classic TV. And so there's a big museum here that's all about his life and like the golden age of television.
He also did a fabulous version of the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, yeah. And so this year is the 250th anniversary of us becoming a country, right? Mm-hmm. We've got all this stuff going, and they're going to do like the Red Skelton Pledge of Allegiance thing. They're doing a big tribute to it on Wednesday, I think. So it's just amazing.
Fabulous. All right. So let's say someone has only 48 hours in your destination. What would be the perfect 2-day itinerary? Things that you absolutely must see, must do, kind of the must experience highlights.
Okay. So you're going to start out and you're going to go see the monument. You're going to go bask in its amazing hugeness and glory. Walking along, you're having a great time. And we call it the Mile of History because everything's really close to each other. So after you do the George Rogers Clark Memorial, then you would head down 4 blocks from the historic home of President William Henry Harrison. We have a presidential home right here, and William Henry Harrison was only president for 30 days. Like, it's a great story. Like, you go and they take you around his home, and I mean, he's not the worst president because I mean, he didn't have time to ruin anything. Long story long, I guess. I'm really bad at the short stuff. Long story long, you would go to there and get them to start talking about the different theories of how he died. Like, oh, was it the bad water in Washington? Or was it he caught pneumonia from giving his inaugural address? You know, like, people have strong feelings about how he died. It's like, okay, this is the theory that I like, right? So William Henry Harrison, he was running for president, and he was getting attacked because people said he wasn't masculine enough to be president, right? Oh, he's not manly enough. This is like early toxic masculinity. He wasn't manly enough. So he shouldn't be president. The man had 10 kids. I mean, what more do they want, right? But he thought, I'm going to show them. He thought, I'm going to show him. I'm going to give my inaugural speech. It was long. If you copy and paste this into Word, like, it's 8 single space pages. It is long. Okay, he gives this inaugural address. They're all going to be outside bundled up in the cold. I'm going to make them freeze their tuchuses off. And I'm going to be there in my shirt sleeves without a coat. I'm going to show them how manly I am. Caught pneumonia, died. 30 days in office, died. But it's fascinating. It's a great house. It's fascinating to see all of the pioneer type life, the frontier life of the time. I mean, it's right here on the river. Love it.
I love the presidential homes and, you know, learning more about history, especially when you have great docents that can really get yourself thinking as you're kind of going through and looking at the different exhibits and stuff.
I agree with that. You know, it's interesting how we think, oh, we're in unprecedented times. And then you hear about all these feuds back in the day, and you're like, we're in super precedented times. This is just the way it is.
Well, compared to a lot of countries, you know, we are the young kids on the block. We're toddlers. So we're
You're
still
right.
trying to figure it all out. But now, food. This is my favorite part. I'm a chef. I had a restaurant for 10 years. I think food is such a huge part of travel. You know, it helps tell the story of the people, the story of the community. What's one local food or drink visitors absolutely have to try, and where should they go to get the real deal?
The real deal. So, okay, here in town, there's a pizza feud going on between a family that owns 2 different restaurants, and the young people own one and the older people own the other. It's called Bogues. So if you want to eat like a local, you will eat both Bogues and then you will pick a side. Okay. But if I were just going to, like, what do I, you know, I walk downtown all the time. What do I stop and eat? I go to this place called Frank's, and they've got like hardly any seating. And it's a little bit like getting served by the soup Nazis, because, like, you know, from Seinfeld, because they are not going to take any guff from you. But you go in and you're like, I would like the chupacabra. Okay, they smoked this bacon themselves. It is so good. All of the meat has been very carefully attended to. This is amazing. You would pay like $25 in a city for this burger alone. And here you've got this enormous burger and this side of mac and cheese. It's like $12. It's huge. Oh, it's so good.
Yum. Now, let's see. You might have done this a little bit already. Tell me about a piece of hidden history or a story from your area that most visitors don't know, but probably should.
Okay. Something that a lot of people don't know is that William Henry Harrison in his time was quite controversial. So someone tried to assassinate him at the Harrison home where he was. You know, we read a lot about presidential assassinations after they become president, but someone was like, he's not taking office. And so there's a hole in one of the windows where the musket ball came through. If it had hit him, we wouldn't have even had that president, and probably not Benjamin Harrison, his descendant either. But yeah, so just going and seeing the literal musket ball, seeing the hole in the pane of glass. It happened here, and a lot of places will lionize their famous people, and here they're very down to earth about, you know, this guy in Tecumseh, they had a feud. He had all these issues with people. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fun.
I get the whole like checking out the bullet hole in the window thing. In
Mhm.
Wisconsin, we have a restaurant up north, and there was a huge Dillinger shootout. So Little
Ooh.
Bohemia has glass over to protect the windows that you could see where things were shot out. There's holes in the opposite wall and stuff like that. That's all still there. And that's part of the charm about going to Little Bohemia, is to check out just, the shootout and what happened back in the day. So I get that. It's kind of a, what do they call that? Black tourism, looking at, things like that, where like people were shot at, people were murdered, things like that. But it's kind of fascinating being able to tie that into history yet still today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dark history. Yeah, I like that. Mm.
Okay. If visitors really want to meet locals and feel a part of your community, not just pass through, where should they go or what should they do?
So, what the locals do that tourists generally don't is we have over the summer, I guess starts in April. It's called First Fridays, and it's just a downtown little thing where you travel between the art galleries. There's a 35-foot blow-up screen that we screen movies on. This year they'll all be American themed movies. We're going to do a sing along to Hamilton. That'll be so fun. I mean, and that's just the kind of thing where it's actually like I'm seeing everyone I already know. So if you like, the danger of Vincennes, this happens all the time, is that people visit here and then they move. And it's like, really? Like, we're one of the few towns in Indiana that had an upswing in our census numbers, where a lot of them are going down. And I thought, well, that's because people just keep liking it here. you know This woman Alice visited the Indiana Military Museum, and she's a volunteer now. She lives there. She lives here. She moved here from wherever she used to live. I don't even know now. She's a local, but yeah, it's wild. Mm.
I was talking with somebody the other day, and it was how travel can be the gateway to residency. Because if
Yeah.
people come in your community and they feel welcome, and then they kind of try and picture themselves, what would my life here be like? Can I get a job here? What are the schools like? And it's true, I think, with tourism, that it does help build up communities.
Now that you say that, it's probably true also because there are a lot of jobs here. That's probably part of it too, is that like, oh, not hard to find some place that wants people. Oh, I'm going to get you, Dannelle. You're going to be like, you know what? They need a cheesehead in Vincennes.
I think they need a cheesehead everywhere. No, I'm just kidding. Um, now, travel doesn't have to be expensive to be memorable. And I know that some people are really kind of pinching pennies right now. Times are a little tight for them. What's a great way to explore your destination on a budget? Kind of free or low cost experience do you think delivers the biggest wow for your visitors?
It's interesting you say that, because when Indiana did a study on what people know about Indiana, affordable was the number one word that came up. Well, first we found out that they were not very aware of Indiana at all, which, is better than a bad impression. But yeah, the study said that the one thing people associate this with is affordability. In Vincennes, like the First Friday thing, that's free. But like, there's not a ticket in town that's more than $12. I mean, like, you can go to the Harrison House, you can go, like, they're all very inexpensive. It's kind of wild that it's very inexpensive. And I think that's just maybe the Midwest in general. But there's so many free things to do. So, and it's interesting too, because I'll get calls at the tourism bureau and they're like, oh, what additional expenses should we budget for? Like, do we need to pay for parking? No, there are parking spots everywhere. There's so much parking. Congratulations. There's not a parking meter. Like, what's that? So it's a very affordable place to visit.
Good to
The
know.
American Bakers came here from the History Channel to see the Indiana Military Museum. Yeah, and they just couldn't believe it.
This is going so fast today. It takes us to question number 7. What is your favorite only here experience? Something visitors truly can't do anywhere else but in your destination.
Okay. I would say the Rendezvous, the big Revolutionary War reenactment. It's nowhere else. All the food has to be cooked traditionally over a fire. Several battle reenactments over the course of a weekend, but it's more than that. It's like the soap makers and the glass blowers and the leather people, and then these guys that just do an encampment. They the memorial I was talking about, like the lawn of that is just covered in tents. And this happens like once a year, and they just completely camp out. And I feel like everyone has kind of embraced this particular part of Vincennes. The whole town comes out for this. So if you're not volunteering in a booth making food for people, you're out there on the battlefield shooting a musket. We had PBS come out because they wanted to see this, and I caught one of the volunteers teaching our PBS host how to shoot a musket, and I'm like, I don't think we have the insurance for that. But she didn't die, so there was that. That was fine. I guess it's fine. but yeah, I mean, it's just so friendly. I mean, you're like, suddenly it's like, I guess I could just do this. I could just be part of this.
Oh, how fun. How fun. So I'm leaving you with one last little thought to share with everyone. You haven't really been to Vincennes until you have what?
You haven't been to Vincennes until you have relived the revolution. That's what I'll say. Relive the revolution right here.
Sounds good. Okay. So I want to thank you so much, Janice, for sharing your local expertise and insider tips with us today.
Oh, absolutely.
It's been an absolute pleasure learning more about Vincennes, and I'm sure our listeners are ready to plan their next adventure. If you're ever in Vincennes, the toe of the boot of Indiana, make sure you check out Janice's recommendations. Oh, wow, the war reenactment. I mean, that just sounds like a must-see. So to stay connected.
War. The British are coming.
The British are coming. Well, to stay connected with Vincennes, I want you to take a look at the show notes. We're going to have some links in there for you. And that way you can get some more updates, travel tips, and local stories from this incredible destination. So, Janice, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate you having me on.
If today's conversation made you think, yeah, I want to go there, then we have done our job.
You've been listening to the Traveling Cheesehead Podcast. Subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with your best travel buddies. Check back for another Destination Diaries episode every week. Thanks for listening. This has been a Traveling Cheesehead production.
I'm Dannelle Gay, reminding you that adventure doesn't always mean far away. Sometimes it's just one great story away. See you on the road beyond the exits.